Sir Criston Cole has finally been slain on House the Dragon, and it is almost fully satisfying. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. This is Nova Films. My name is Ryan. Please make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel. I greatly appreciate it. And we're going to be talking full spoilers for Season 3, Episode 6 of House the Dragon. So for me, I will say that I did feel that this episode, it was good, but also a little bit of a mixed bag in some of the plot points that they were going with. We'll get further into that why, but I do want to start off with a high point of it, which is for me is the long-awaited moment of Criston Cole's demise, the Butcher's Ball, where Criston Cole finally fucking dies in this show. It took him long enough to. He's a truly despicable character, but I found him endlessly fascinating, I have to say. And the actor Fabian Frankel did a phenomenal job with the character, and I really couldn't have asked for anybody better to play Sir Criston. You know, the way he embodied him, his physicality in the fight scene when the Winter Wolves pull their little trap envoy on them. I immediately saw that trap come from like a mile away. All the dead bodies laying around, the supposed dead bodies. I just had that feeling of like, there's something afoot here. And then immediately the one fucking Tully soldier raises his dagger. The others rise up like a bunch of fucking zombies. They just start taking out Criston Cole's whatever is left of Criston Cole's army. And of course we get to see a little bit of Criston Cole's glory of him being, you know, the greatest warrior in the realm. He just starts fucking people up left and right with the Morning Star, and it is pretty glorious. It was pretty cool to, you know, before Criston Cole gets his pretty book accurate end at the Butcher's Ball with the 3 arrows in him, no glorious fighting. He does get to go out, at least killing a couple of soldiers in the end before he gets taken out by the River Lords and Roddy the Ruin and Oscar Tully and Black Alley, who actually shot the arrows into him, which was pretty cool. That was pretty cool to incorporate her into the story. I don't know why they haven't name dropped her, because she's a pretty big essential part of the Civil War of the Dance of the Dragons, and even Roddy the Ruin. Not sure why they haven't like name dropped him. Only like book fans, or if you're like on TikTok and you see like a bunch of people talking about certain characters from Fire and Blood, like, you know the names then. If not, they haven't. I feel like the writers haven't done the best job of like telling us who the names of these specific characters are in the dance. They kind of just leave it up to interpretation for the book fans, which is good for me, but you know, for other people, they got to learn that on their own. And the reason why that I say that the Criston Cole death is like halfway, like almost like flawless and perfect really well, is because they didn't have the line from the book, "I'll have no song sung for you, Kingmaker." Especially since last episode, we had Criston Cole talking to Gwaine about how my glorious end, there will be songs sung about me, and Queen Alicent herself will hear about them. And I feel like that could have been reiterated perfectly if Roddy the Ruin or Oscar Tully, you know, said the line to him, "There will be no song sung for you, Kingmaker." Like, I feel like that could have been reinforced really well. And also it's such a badass line. It's one of the coolest lines in the whole Dance of Dragons section in the Fire and Blood book. And I don't know, it felt like a huge missed opportunity that they could have done. I mean, like, it was faithful in how Cole died with the 3 arrows, a pretty disappointing end for him. The realm's greatest warrior just doesn't get what he wants, which is essentially die fighting. But yeah, that's why for me, Cole's death was like almost flawless. I mean, if they included the line from the book, I feel like it would have just hit a little bit better, you know, especially connecting with last week's episode where he had that whole monologue with Criston Cole about the songs will be sung. Now, last week, I unfortunately did not get the chance to make an episode 5 spoiler review, obviously, but, you know, some of my quick initial thoughts for that, since it leads into the next episode with the whole Gold Cloak's murder mystery going on with Daemon and Sir Luther. Well, now Sir Luther is gone, you know, the end when we have the full, you know, a feast for traitors kind of diorama set up of all the Gold Cloak's bodies, including Sir Luther, very much in the style of the Last Supper kind of feeling. You know, you have Daemon. He's, of course, being impulsive, being very, very brash. You know, in the small council, he's talking about how he mourns his friend Sir Luther and that he wants vengeance for his men. All the Gold Cloaks, they mean a lot to him. You know, he bought their loyalty. He raised them up as an army, and he created the Gold Cloaks. And I got to say, for this episode, I also really enjoyed seeing Rhaenyra's character change a bit. I feel like they're really doing a nice job now that they're finally like starting to set Rhaenyra down the path of being Rhaenyra the Cruel. It's like they started to in episode 3, then they kind of like meandered a little bit on it, not really fully going into it. They always keep doing that, but now it seems like Rhaenyra is actually fully developing almost like this very brash, icy in the veins kind of like vibe from her. You know, the way she treats the suitors at the hearing all the petitions brought to her by the small folk. She's just got some fucking ice in her veins now. The one nun was like, one of our nuns was taken in the night and was, kidnapped essentially. She was like, oh, thoughts and prayers. I'll make sure I light a candle next time I go to the sept. It's like, Jesus fucking Christ, Rhaenyra. Like I like it, like the fact that like she's finally starting to get a little bit colder, a little bit more like ambitious, like having a little more teeth to her, like no pun intended, but she's literally a fucking dragon in human form, kind of like how Daemon is, but she hasn't really been showing her teeth as much. And I like now that she's starting to get a little more ferocious and a little more commanding, especially the way she's starting to treat Alicent now too, which I feel like we should have done that like 2 seasons ago. I feel like Alicent should have been like the one that she was like the most cold with. I mean, like obviously they keep playing on and off with like their dichotomy of their relationship, like, the pseudo-sexual kind of feeling and vibe that they have for each other that they keep trying to like force in on them. But I really enjoyed that in this episode, Rhaenyra was like actually really cold, really dismissive, manipulative, and kind of threatening to Alicent. And then, of course, Alicent, for some reason, throughout the season 3 course of these episodes, she is doe-eyed. She looks like a deer in headlights, like every other fucking scene that she's in. I mean, it's nothing against like Olivia Cook, the actress who plays Alicent. She's fantastic in it, but they just really like they love seeing Alicent with this doe-eyed fucking I don't know what's going on expression. I don't know if it's supposed to be like, I mean, I'm assuming it's supposed to be like it's like intentional for her character. Like she just seems like she has no fucking clue what's going on. But after a while, it's starting to get a little, I don't know, almost cartoonish the way that like she keeps coming in and she's almost just like, like all the like these big ass eyes and very strange. I mourn for a more cold and icy and just vengeful, just pride and proudful Alicent Hightower that we kind of got in the first half of season 1, and then they kind of just been not really knowing what to do with her character, and now she's going to be a fucking assassin against her own son Aemond. I thought that was pretty cool that Rhaenyra is forcing Alicent to kill Aemond for her, kind of like a silent dagger in the darkness to try to take him out. And Alicent is still baffled at the fact that why is Rhaenyra being this way to me? It's like you usurped her throne and caused like this entire civil war, and now you're trying to run off with Helena, make her abandon her daughter Jaehaera, and kind of just wash your hands clean of any like kind of responsibility or accountability that you have for being a part of the civil war and causing it, to be honest. And yeah, it's interesting what they're doing with Alicent's character, but it's also a little bit frustrating because it's like they just keep wanting to drive home the fact that like, oh no, poor Alicent, she's such a bad mother. But it was Otto's fault. Yes, it was Otto's fault, but it's still her own fucking fault too. Like we have to hold Alicent a little more accountable for the damage that she has done and the damage that she has put into, constructing the whole point of this civil war of what it's gotten to. So that's my 2 cents a little bit on Alicent Hightower and how her character is going on in the season so far. At least in this episode, it's going to be interesting to see what goes on with her when she goes to Harrenhal and find Aemond with his 500-year-old witch kooky goth castle mommy going on. I mean, it was really cool seeing Alice Rivers this episode. I feel like we finally got a little bit more of her motivation, a little bit more of like her plan of what she wants to do. She essentially wants Harrenhal. She wants the castle, but last time she talked with Daemon, she tried to convince him. He was like, I'm not going to give you Harrenhal just for the sake of it. Like, thanks for my season 2 arc of therapy and like uncovering like the inner demons that I have within myself. But I'm not just gonna give you Harrenhal. It'd be really weird if a witchy midwife woods witch woman just received the largest castle in the entire 7 kingdoms. So now she's on plan B essentially, which is wooing Aemon into her nether regions to try to get him to be like her lapdog essentially. I mean, it's clear as day. She is fully manipulating Aemon into this. I mean, she is coming on to him really strong, saying, oh, I never had someone defend me. I'm in your debt. Here are these dragon eggs. Do you want to be the dragon lord by my side? I will be the lady in the water. Like, it's so clear that she's going to be having Aemon eating out of the palm of her hand. And by the end of the episode, you see Aemon's going to end up eating out of the palm of Alice's hand. And I kind of love it. I love the fact that we're getting more from Alice Rivers, kind of seeing the more mystical, fantastical side of this world, especially with like the magic, since in the latter half of, well, really the entirety of the Game of Thrones show, they cut out so much of the magic and the fantastical whimsiness of it. They really only kept the magic if it was like essential to the plot, like the character of Melisandre, the White Walkers, the dragons. But other than that, if the magic is not like essential to the storyline or like fantastical, D&D just fucking boop, cut it right the fuck out. And I'm glad that in this show they're actually like putting more of that in, especially with Alice and just the way they've made Harrenhal such this spooky haunted house castle with like weirwood vines growing through it and like just this cool mysticism surrounding surrounding her character in Harrenhal. So definitely her and Aemon's storyline. I'm gonna be really interested to see like it unfold in the next couple episodes leading into next season, of course. Another element of the episode that I found really interesting that like continues to really fascinate me and really like draw me in is the whole Ormond Hightower Daron situation going on. Gawain finally comes back after leaving Criston Cole to his death march with his other men, and it was cool just the relationships going on with Ormond and Daron. It's like it's tragic but fascinating at the same time to watch because like Ormond, he's such a despicable character who has like so much to say about other people, but the guy can barely he can't even handle bad odors or like like truly extreme violence. Like when the assassins came to try to kill Daron, which was kind of a smart decision and plot that Rhaenyra had with basically cloaking the Baratheon assassins in mud and dirt and shit and piss. And it fucking threw off Ormond, and they almost did kill Daron. If it wasn't for Gawain, who actually spotted them and realized that they were assassins, like they would have been cooked. It's funny how like both teams, like Team Green and Team Black, like they're both like these are our obvious factions of the war. Rhaenyra's team was successful in taking King's Landing, but like the small council and everything is just like falling apart. And like it's like every day it's just like a new struggle, like Daemon constantly being like, we need to just burn these fucking people at Tumbleton. And to a certain degree, I agree with him. We have dragons, we have 6 of them. They're the power of the world, of our ancestors, of our forebears. Let's just go burn this motherfucker Ormond and Tumbleton, and let's just be done with it. Some people will probably die in the process, and that's tragic. But I'm sure that if we just blew fire on fucking Ormond's tower of where he's staying at in Tumbleton, I feel like that would be okay. Some casualties, yes, that's tragic, but like it's the necessary thing. And then, of course, the White Worm is another side of Rhaenyra's shoulder that she has her ear on, and she's like, well, a queen who murders her loyal subjects, what does that make her? Someone who is feared and all that. And then fucking Manderly and Sabbath the Frey, like talking shit behind everyone's back. I love the moment where Daemon throws his cup at Manderly, and he's like, I'll have no more from someone whose greatest battle is their own indigestion. That was pretty funny. Daemon with the lines, with the funny ass lines, will always be a treat to hear. Now, for me, the elements that just didn't really work for me that great, obviously, was the Alan and Bela scene. Last episode we saw was Adam and Bela kind of getting along, and their chemistry was definitely flying off the charts. Like, there were some interesting things going back and forth. And if you know the source material from Fire and Blood, yes, Bela does end up getting in a relationship with Alan, her half uncle, essentially. I mean, these are the Targaryens, just what they do. It's the incest that goes on in the world. It's just what happens. So yeah, their chemistry last episode, Adam and Bela, was like really, really well done. Alan and Bela, they had like maybe like a 30-second interaction in, I think it was episode 2. They talked, and then in this episode, like Bela, she comes on to him super quickly, and I don't know, the scene just felt kind of forced. I wish there was more build up to it, and especially too, we get an Alan and Bela kiss scene, and you mean to tell me that we couldn't get Bela and Jace being affectionate to one another in like a more romantic way, to where we could like latch onto them for their like young love, like their young hopeful love in this fucking dark ass fucking Civil War story? Like, I feel like we could have done a better job of setting up, Jace and Bela's like romantic relationship, because if you don't realize it, they were betrothed at one point and they were set to be married. And I feel like if we got to see kind of like the romantic side of them, and then Jason's death becomes a lot more powerful for when he dies, and then you feel bad for Bela. And then when you get to this, it's almost like, oh my God, like Bela, she's moving on so quickly from Jace, her betrothed, who we knew, who was Rhaenyra's son. And I feel like it would like pull at our heartstrings a little more to be like, oh, like Like, we get it. She's grieving, maybe she's reaching out to someone that she could connect with, and that person is Alan. But even then, the buildup for the Alan and Bela kiss just wasn't really that great. So I don't know. I feel like this is like the cautionary tale for like 8 episodes for a series like House of the Dragon or any kind of like show. I feel like is just really detrimental because we have these many characters and these many like plot points going on, it just gets muddled and things end up feeling rushed for certain parts. And I feel like this just could have been. I feel like it just could have been much better executed, and I feel like we could have laid the groundwork for it a little bit better. So when we get to this moment, we have more of like a reaction instead of just like, oh my god, she's kissing her half uncle. It's not just like, oh my god, she's kissing her half uncle. She was gonna be married to Jace. She was like gonna be the queen of the Seven Kingdoms, and now she's coming on to Alan. How does Alan feel about this? It kind of just felt very random, and for me, it just didn't really work in the episode, to be honest. So the last thing that really was not working for me this episode was the whole Hugh Hammer and his wife plot line. Hugh Hammer ends up infiltrating Tumbleton, trying to fight his wife, Kat, in the town. And, she's like overwhelmed. She's so happy to see him. And then he's like, oh, well, I claimed the dragon. I was made a knight. Like, we're going to have all this glory. We're like, our lives are going to be better. And she immediately just flips on him. It's kind of a very like harsh reaction. She's like, well, you left me to seek out your own glory, which like, we know that's not true. He did seek out to actually help and better their lives. It's a little bit of a mixed bag feeling that I have for her. Cause like on the one side, like I can understand, like, cause she says, the road here to come to Tumbleton, a woman by myself. Do you know like what I had to endure? We get it. I mean, this season there's really a lot of sexual assault going on this season. It's just like really being hammered home, and especially with this poor fucking lady. It's just like it just felt weird. It was like an immediate switch. She was like, I need you with me. I didn't need you to become a dragon lord and get us money and make a better life for us. It's like, okay, what did you want us to just fucking squander in the mud and just struggle forever? Like, Hugh had to take a chance. Yes, he did leave her, and that's tragic, and it is. But I know for me, if that was happening, I'd be so furious. Like I literally like I risked myself to come save you and to help you, and I get spat in my fucking face. And like I said, it is still tragic. It is still sad what happened to her. Her brother's dead now. Horrible things happened to her on the road here. But also too, Hugh did say, stay in King's Landing and I will come find you. And what did she do? She left the fucking city. I don't know. Like I said, it's tragic for what happened to Kat, Hugh's wife. It really is. But at the same time, it's like Hugh was trying to make her life better, their lives better. And she just like kind of spat in his face. And it feels like this is like another turn for Hugh. Like maybe this is also what's going to happen. Like Hugh is just going to say, fuck it. And just completely abandon his wife and Queen Rhaenyra. And that might add to the motivation for his turn against like the whole of Team Black. And obviously we see why Ulf is going to turn on Rhaenyra and Daemon and her side, because he's constantly getting disrespected. I mean, Ulf is kind of an idiot. I mean, dude, like if you want to go to the pub so badly, like why don't you petition Rhaenyra or petition Daemon to be like, listen, can I just have some friends over? Maybe they would say no. Maybe if he wasn't just such a fucking drunk buffoon and actually like exuded a little more confidence out of him. Like he rides a fucking dragon. Like you got to get a little more confidence when you're talking to these people, dude. Not in like a disrespectful way, because they still are royalty. But like you got to like muster up a little more balls to like say what you're gonna say, because he's always like, your grace, my prince. Like have some fucking balls, dude. This is probably why Daemon keeps fucking bitch smacking him like every episode and every encounter they have, is because Daemon's like, how the fuck did this stuttering, drunk, bumbling idiot get a dragon and he can't even muster the confidence to like actually do shit or follow orders or just do anything? I get it that, he wants to go to the pub. He wants to see his friends. Like he wants to drink with them. Ultimately, this is what's going to lead to him turning sides against Rhaenyra and Daemon. Because again, Daemon, I'm going to condemn for this. He fucked up. He should not have backhanded Ulf in the street and made an example out of him, because now the people see that, and Daemon, he made a bad example to the public, which already was not a good cause for Rhaenyra, because she's already fucking up on the throne. She's already cut by the throne too, and if you know what that means that if you believe in the lore that the throne is rejecting her, she's unfit to rule. I'm kind of like a 50-50 on it, of if that's actually what it means. I always go back to the whole Robert Baratheon narration from the Game of Thrones history and lore, which she was like, she probably was gripping the damn thing too hard, you know? So I don't know. Team Black is a mess. Team Green is a mess. There's a whole other new faction of Team Green with Daron and Ormond, where Daron is trying to make Ormond, where Ormond is trying to make Daron the new fucking king. So we're gonna see where that goes. And Corlys gets kidnapped at the end of the episode. I was so shocked because I was like, they can't kill Corlys. He has so much more to go on in the story, but we didn't see a body, so he's definitely not dead. If you don't see a body, the character's not dead. And they definitely just captured Corlys. Bull John Roxton, he definitely just captured Corlys, and yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens next episode. It seems like the Tumbleton battle is going to be happening next episode. If not, hopefully the finale, because they are really holding out on this Tumbleton battle of like what's going to happen. I won't give too much spoilers on like the specific things that happen in Tumbleton, but we're going to have to wait and see what happens next episode and in the finale, which is crazy because we already have 2 episodes left for season 3 House of the Dragon. So we got to wait 2 years in 2028 to see season 4, the final season. All right, guys, that is going to do it for my House of the Dragon season 3 episode 6 spoiler review. For me, I am going to rate this. I'm going to rate it a 7.5 out of 10. Like I said, some of the plot points that were going on in this episode were a little iffy for me, a little bit of half-baked writing going on for me from the writers of this show. And I mean, overall, the season has been really, really good. I have been really enjoying it. Just for some of the plot points of this episode, I thought could have been handled better, at least for setup from the previous episodes. So that's going to do it for this review, guys. Thank you so much. Please make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe to my channel. I greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys next week for season 3, episode 7 spoiler review. Take care.